Battle of the Lifelong Learner. Sufyan has been a member Toastmaster since July 2015. He's from Chico. Give me a big welcoming round of applause for Sufyan here. All right.
Allow me to take the moment to say, Jaleel, that was a beautiful speech, very heartwarming and inspiring. And I feel that you too are a lifelong learner and someone that I can learn from. And it goes to this, what I'm about to speak about right now. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow classy talkers, and honored guests. I am a lifelong learner, but that's not something to be bragging about here in this room because all of you are lifelong learners. This speech isn't about me trying to convince you to become a lifelong learner, nor is it to give you advice on how to become a better lifelong learner. In fact, this speech is merely about telling you what being a lifelong learner meant to me and how it benefited me throughout my adult life. In my previous speech, I think it was my first speech, I discussed that back in 2008, I was involved in an industrial accident while I was in the Navy that gave me severe brain damage. To this day, my mental acuity constantly falls and my motor functions have been debilitated. But throughout this time, after many years after that incident, I look around and I realize I've gotten easy. There were several other people that I met in my life and even beyond my life that I've heard of that have gone through so much worse. And because of their optimism and their dedication to lifelong learning, they have overcome a lot of limitations in their life. And it continues to motivate me and inspire me every day. One of these stories is actually my sensei, the person who teaches me martial arts. He has been teaching martial arts since 1978. He has 17 different black belts in several different types of martial arts. But at one point in his career from teaching martial arts, he contracted a disease that required surgeons to extract a lot of muscle mass from his body, and that disease caused him to bloat up to a point where it impeded his physical mobility. And when the doctors told him that his condition will require him to retire from teaching and even practicing the martial arts, he wanted to find a different opinion because his passion was that. His life was basically martial arts. So he told me a story where he started to learn different types of techniques and different types of movements that wouldn't require the muscles that he had to use. And because of that, he started to learn more about spiritual movements and spiritual energy and be focusing more on the spirit. And as he incorporated that into his martial arts techniques and self-defense techniques, he began to grow stronger. And after 40 years of training martial arts, he still is a martial arts trainer. That still is his career, and he teaches me and Mark martial arts as well. He does that with the same zeal and same energy that he did when I first met him and 40 years ago. His story of being a lifelong learner inspired me. And as another story of a personal friend of mine who is the CEO of his own company based out of Arizona. I can't reveal his name to protect his privacy. However, about 3 years ago, he was diagnosed with terminal pancreas cancer. The doctor's prognosis was 1 year to live. He's still alive today. And at that point, when he found out he had terminal pancreas cancer, he said to himself, now it is more vital to be learning more and growing more than it ever was in my entire life. And so he did continue to learn. He started to learn more about nutritional values and incorporating them into his lifestyle and diet. He started learning more about the spirit and focusing on the soul and incorporate that into his everyday life. 3 years later, he's still alive and he's still the CEO of his company. He still goes to work every single day. And when people told him to relax, and when people said, even prior to his cancer, your Your career is already at its pinnacle. You could relax, you could retire. You said, no. Now is the time I run towards the fire, and now is the time I continue to learn. And inspiring me too, because I'm not terminal in any way, shape, or form. And I don't have muscle mass removed from my body. I can't keep giving myself these excuses because there's so many other people walking around every day who have conditions far worse than mine. And I can't promise you that what they did is going to work and cure, because there is no medical or research to support this. However, all I could say is that it won't hurt. And that optimism, that passion, that zeal, that commitment to lifelong learning will continue to make a person grow. And if anything else, it will inspire another person like they inspired me. After that accident, I thought that maybe I should just give up because I couldn't learn, I couldn't go to school, I couldn't advance my career. At least in my head, I thought that. But to this day, I continue to grow in everything. And when I walked into here, I realized, wow, the battle for me, the battle to become a lifelong learner isn't a battle I fight alone. I fight it with every single one of you, because every single day, all of you come here to learn the art of speech and the art of presentation and the art of communication, despite some of you, many of you actually, already reaching a milestone, personal, professional, or otherwise, in your life. Many of your achievements have been remarkable, and yet you're here to learn from each other, for ourselves, and the competition for ourselves. And yet, I realize now that this battle isn't fought alone, because every day I can learn from all of you. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, I'm fired up. Thank you, Sufi. Let's put